All right. So, an update to my video from I think a couple of days ago. And yes, the House voted yes on that military spending bill. So with that anti-trans provision in. So, there's this article. Families consider leaving the military after House votes yes on anti-trans spending bill. Because, it's not like the military has a recruitment problem or anything. Let's give them more reasons to not want to join. All right. Military families with transgender children are horrified by the House's passage of the National Defense Authorization Act, or NDAA, and some service members are now considering leaving the armed forces to protect their kids. The annual military budget contains a provision banning gender-affirming care for the trans children of military members. The bill passed Wednesday in a 281 to 140 vote, with 81 Democratic Congress members voting in its favor. Because that's great. Obviously, they care more about getting the budget through than protecting trans people. So great. This is what I thought that was going to happen on the Republican side, that they would take away that provision because they were more interested in funding the military. And it turns out it was 81 Democrats who caved. Cool. I have a strong desire and propensity to continue to serve, but this will definitely weigh on my mind and my family's decision to continue serving. And that's difficult, but my family's got to come first. An Air Force chief with a trans daughter going by Jay told The Hill. Jay said he has served for over 20 years and cannot at all see the connection between military readiness and taking away this essential health care. In fact, he sees the provision as actively harmful to morale. Well, yeah. I mean, you're basically telling service members that, if you have to choose between your family and military service, most people are going to choose their family. I don't know why this is a shock. And I even mentioned in my previous video, what does healthcare have to do with military readiness? Good healthcare would lead to military readiness, but how is healthcare for your children going to impact military readiness? This is actually going to now if you're a service member and your kid is trans, they're going to actually be worried about their kid as opposed to concentrating on what they have to do for their job. I fail to see how this is actually beneficial. Not to mention the fact that, this only affects trans kids. Cis kids will be able to get gender-affirming care just fine. Taking away something that families are relying on distracts us from the mission and the task at hand in order to be and remain as lethal as we are, he said. I really, really hate it that people keep talking about being lethal. I realize that the military's job is to kill the enemy, but it's just, Jay's spouse added, "You can't say that this is going to help our military when you're scaring military families." Exactly. Like I said, it's not like the military has a recruitment issue or anything, so let's just make it less appealing to families to want to give up their potentially give up their lives in order to serve your country when your country is basically thumbing their nose at you. If the NDAA passes, his family may have to purchase supplemental health insurance or pay out of pocket for their daughter's health care. Jay is considering leaving the Air Force in 2.5 years when his commitment is up. So, at least he's staying for his commitment. I don't know if it's possible to leave earlier. But it sounds like he was wanting to stay even longer. And this could be the decision. This could be the straw that broke the camel's back, and it will make him leave the military. Anne, a veteran with a trans son whose husband is currently a senior Pentagon officer, said it feels like the safety bubbles are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Anne served a 15-month combat tour in Iraq and 8 total years in the military. The country is kind of closing in on us, she said, like we're running out of places to go, especially with something like the NDAA, and just seeing the writing on the wall about a national ban on gender-affirming care. Anne's son is receiving gender-affirming care through the military health plan, TRICARE. She said he is thriving as a result, and while her husband does not want to retire, he may do so if NDAA eliminates the coverage they need. Of course he's thriving, because he's getting the care he needs. Duh. It's only people without any empathy or people who just simply think that mental health is one big joke who would be surprised that this kid is thriving. That's pretty much marking the end of the road, she said, pointing out that legislation like this not only impedes health care, but will cost the military talented members. And that's even before Trump takes office and said that he was going to kick out all trans military. So, yeah. Let's just work on weakening the military because they have people there that you don't like. Like Pete Hegseth once said, not like a month ago, that women shouldn't serve in combat. And then later he's like, oh, it was misconstrued. I never said the women shouldn't serve in the military. So unless he's under the impression that combat roles and non-combat roles have this clear demarcation, yes, he is actually saying that women do not belong in the military. If that's the way we're going to be treated, if that's the tone that Congress and the government wants to set, then that's pretty unfortunate because you're going to lose combat experience. You're going to lose leaders with decades of valuable experience that the military needs. It's a scary world out there, so it's a pretty sad state of affairs that our national security, that you're going to ask folks to make that decision and not support their families. Oops. One parent and veteran spouse of a now trans adult is devastated by the fact that the increasingly hostile environment could dash their child's dream of serving in the military. It's all they've ever wanted, to be like their dad, to carry on a family tradition of service to the country, she said. I don't think I can truly express how devastating it would be for them to not be able to fulfill those dreams. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat from New York, said that Democratic congressional leadership didn't tell legislators how to vote on the bill, adding that there's a lot of positive and bipartisan provisions in the NDAA, but also some troubling ones, CBS News reported. Senators will now vote on the bill. If their version is identical to the House's and passes in the upper congressional chamber, it will go to President Joe Biden's desk, where he may veto or sign it into law. In the past, Biden has promised to veto legislation that harms the LGBTQ plus community. If Biden signs the law, it would be the first federal statute restricting the LGBTQ plus community since the infamous Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy of the 1990s, which heavily restricted LGBTQ plus people's membership from serving in the military. Or people literally could serve but just don't tell anyone. And there were some service members who knew that they were serving with a gay individual but just didn't care. So they didn't report it. So there's always that chance, but another military spouse with an adult trans daughter said she worries that the anti-trans provision is a slippery slope toward ultimately banning gender-affirming care for adults through TRICARE as well. Well, considering Trump wants to ban trans members from serving, that won't be a problem. They're not going to ban it from TRICARE because trans people won't be allowed to serve. I don't get concerned about that moving forward, that this could impact my daughter, this could impact older trans adults. I don't know where this ends, so I think it's a really dangerous road to start down. All right, so, and like I said, Trump has already said he doesn't want trans people serving in the military. Now, I briefly thought that possibly he might not be anti-trans, and this is just simply him just, going the way the wind blows. This is what his base wants to hear. Because he allows people like Caitlyn Jenner to use the correct bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. And apparently she's been able to use the bathrooms, the women's bathroom at the White House. So this is more of a power play. This is more politics than him truly being anti-trans. Or, he's just simply anti anybody who doesn't like him and doesn't agree with him. So it's not that cut and dry. Unlike, him being racist. Well, he actually enacted policies in his private life that hurt non-whites. So, for a fact that he's racist. But I don't know. Maybe he is anti-trans. Maybe this isn't just politics. But I just don't know. I don't know if he took a stance before he entered politics. So I really don't know. But either way, this sucks for trans people. This in the near future, it sucks for trans kids and their parents, but it could eventually affect all trans people, whether they're serving, whether they're children of service members, it doesn't matter, because Trump wants them all gone. Like I said, the military's having a hard time recruiting. So this is just going to make their dwindling numbers dwindle more. Unless Trump thinks that his buddies, like the Proud Boys, would take up the slack. Because then the military won't be woke anymore. So people who are, in this just so they could become domestic terrorists when they get back would be more willing to serve. So, I believe that is all I have for this video. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.